warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning to Dr. Wahidah and our fellow classmates. Today, we will present to all of you about Jabir Ibnu Hayyan, the Muslim scholar that we have choose for this project. First of all, we would like to introduce our group members. My name is Nurul Syafawani binti Arbi, and my metric number is 1181066.
Assalamualaikum, Tachahau, Wanakkam, and hello to everyone. My name is Nur Aina binti Abdurrahman, and my metric number is 1181056.
My name is Fatin Hazikah binti Jamat, and my metric number is 1181055.
Hello everyone, my name is Nurul Najiha binti Tito, and my metric number is 1181059.
Jabir Ibnu Hayyan is considered as the father of chemistry and known as Jabir to the Europeans. He was one of the Muslim scholars who contribute a large number of academic work, experiments discovery, and experiments instruments. Jabir Ibn Hayyan lived in the period of 721 AD and who was born in Tus Khurasan at Iran and lived during the period of Umayyad and early Abbasid. Some said that Jabir died at the age of 94 years old at 815 AD. As we all know, education of literary subjects and also the science subjects started in the mosque in addition to the Islamic knowledge. During the Umayyad period, the first attribute was they modernized their government, and the second was that they encouraged learning as signs of luxury. Mosques gradually become the core centers of educational activities. The other educational institutions during that time was the kutab, which were situated mostly in the teacher's house, where the skills of reading and writing were developed. Other than that, education was also being carried out in the royal palace. The downfall of Umayyad era. It was started in the year of 747 AD. Muslims at that time felt that the Umayyad leaders had become too secular and were not following the ways of Islam. The Abbasids started their movement secretly against the Umayyad Caliphate when the Umayyads faced the inner conflict. The movement was well received in the parts of the former Persian Empire, especially the Khurasans, where many people disliked Umayyad rule. The Abbasids started gaining areas one by one after the whole Umayyad Caliphate came to the end in the year of 750 AD, which was after the Battle of Zab. In the same year, Abbasids replaced the Umayyads as the new rulers of Islamic Empire. Meanwhile, during the Abbasid period was the time that Islamic contribution towards knowledge and education rise. At this period, many Muslim scholars arise with their works and discovers in every knowledge. Other than that, Arab scholars during this period began translate ancient books and scientific works into their own language. Among the reasons that motivate them to translate a large number of ancient works was their desire to see the sciences and literatures of foreign nations. The second reason was because of the development of religious debates, and the third reason was the Arab scholars' eagerness to acquire more knowledge of the Greeks. Next, we will move to the biography of Jabir Ibn Hayyan.
The birth of and lineage of Jabir Ibn Hayyan. First, his name is Abdullah Jabir bin Hayyan bin Abdullah al-Azdi, commonly refers as Abu Musa Jabir Ibn Hayyan. He is popularly known as the father of Arab chemistry and one of the founders of modern pharmacy. To the Europeans, he was known as Jabir. He was a natural philosopher who was born in Tus Khurasan in Iraq under the Umayyad Caliphate in 721 or around the 7th century. Jabir is of Arab descent, but some say he is Persian. He is the son of Hayyan al-Azdi, the druggist or pharmacist from the Arabian Azd. He was placed under house arrest in Kufa, where he remains until his death at 815 Masihi. His father, Hayyan Ibnu Abdullah al-Azdi, came from the Arabian Azd tribe in Yemen, who resided in the city of Kufa during the rule of the Umayyad. He was an attar, druggist and pharmacy. Besides, his father was also a supporter of Abbasid revolt against the Umayyad. When Hayyan was in rebellion, he was eventually caught by the troops of the Umayyad and executed in Khurasan. His family fled to Yemen, perhaps to some of their relatives in the Azd tribe, where Jabir grew up and studied the Quran, mathematics, and other subjects. Jabir's father's profession may have contributed great to his interest in alchemy. Next, the education of Jabir ibn Hayyan. After his father died, Jabir and his family returned to Yemen and he studied under the tutelage of the sixth Imam, Ja'far as-Sadiq, and the scholar Harbi al-Himyari. Then he migrated to Kufa after the Abbasid took over of Umayyad Caliphate. He became a student and learned chemistry, pharmacy, philosophy, astronomy, and medicine from Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq. During the reign of Caliph Harun al-Rashid, he became the court alchemist and working as a physician for his grand minister. Next, the books of Jabir ibn Hayyan. For example, Kitab Ar-Rahmah Al-Kabir, the Great Book of Mercy, Kutub Al-Miya wa Isna Asyara, 112 books, Kutub Al-Mawazin, books of balance, Kitab As-Sab'in, the Book of the 70, and the last Kitab Al-Khams Mi'ah, 500 books. Many of his books were translated into many European languages as well, including Latin, French, and German. These translations has influenced the evolution of modern chemistry.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So next, we move to Jabir ibn Hayyan contribution. So here we had found several of Jabir contribution in alchemist world. Okay, the first one is Jabir as inventor of aqua regia. He had discovered this method around the 8th century by mixing common salt with vitriol, or also known as sulfuric acid, that consists of hydrochloric acid and nitric acid. This aqua regia is commonly used to extract noble metals such as gold, platinum, and palladium from substrates, especially in microfabrication and microelectronic laboratories. So here the example of how aqua regia process. Okay, next is Jabir as a founder of method in purifying elemental mercury. Jabir had found this method in purifying elemental mercury by distillation process. As we know, mercury can be used to make thermometer, barometer, and more scientific instruments. And mercury compounds are very useful for scientific purpose, but they can also be very poisonous and can penetrate the body only through respiratory system, the digestive system, or directly through our skin. So mercury is very dangerous for us. Okay, move to the next one is Jabir as a founder of experimental methodology, which is crystallization, calcination, sublimation, filtration, and evaporation. The first one is crystallization. Crystallization is a method by which a solid form is formed where the atom and or molecule are strongly arranged into a structure known as crystal. Crystallization are required method called nucleation that happen in supercooled liquid or supersaturated solvent. Jabir had found this method that is commonly used in laboratory procedure, which is it can be used to purify substances and can be merged with advanced imaging method to identify the nature of crystallized substances. Okay, the second one is calcination. Calcination involves heating a material in a crucible or over an open flame until it reduces to ashes. And Jabir had found this method in order for him to use during developing and experimenting that require heat process. Okay, third one is sublimation. Sublimation is a method where the solid is changed into gaseous state after the first state melting into a liquid phase. Sublimation is frequently used in the laboratory for the purification of solid, for example with caffeine. Okay, next is evaporation. Jabir also found an evaporation process in order for him to make experiment that require a liquid molecule to escape into the gas state. Evaporation is the transformation of liquid into the vapor below the boiling temperature of the liquid. Okay, next we move to Jabir's book contribution. Some author claims that he was a brilliant and great author who published 300 books on philosophy, 1,300 books on physics and hundreds of books on alchemy. The very large body of Arabic text, which are also particularly in trading, passes under the name of Jabir Ibnu Hayyan. This corpus Jabiriyya with more than 500 titles was believed by other authors not to have been published by Jabir himself, but instead to have been added by his student or his friend.
So the fifth contribution of him is that he's producing sulfuric acid and nitric acid. Jabir Ibnu Hayyan was the first one to produce sulfuric acid and nitric acid, which are very useful until now. These two acids are very famous since most people know about it, and it is widely used even by the younger generation. So the next one is Jabir Ibnu Hayyan separated the elemental gold from the impurities. Jabir Ibnu Hayyan was also the one who separated elemental gold from the impurities with the help of lead element and saltpeter. During the 8th century, the discovery of aquaritia by Ibnu Hayyan, which it was the only solvent for gold, and it is still even used today in gold refining process. It is commonly used to remove noble metals such as gold, platinum, and palladium from substrates. Jabir Ibnu Hayyan also works on mercury sulfur theory. This theory represents one of Ibnu Hayyan's contribution on alchemical thought. He endorsed the mercury sulfur theory from Greek theory of four elements, which was originated from Aristotle's ideas of exhalation. The last contribution of Jabir Ibnu Hayyan is that he developed many kinds of chemistry lab equipment. Jabir Ibnu Hayyan has developed and invented more than 20 kinds of chemistry lab equipment, and most of them are also used today in the laboratories. All the equipment are very efficient, and it made all the experiments become easier and safer. Subsequently, because of his dedication and devotedness on the chemistry experiment and practical tasks, he came up with an idea to invent an apparatus called alembic, which used for distillation process by setting up two vessels linked by a tube. Furthermore, Jabir Ibnu Hayyan also extemporized an apparatus called retort. Retort is a device used for distillation and dry distillation in chemistry laboratory. Retorts are also used in the food industry as well. Pressure cookers are always referred as retort, which means canning retort for the sterilizing process under high temperature. Additionally, retort is used in biochar pyrolysis industry, served as a reactor to pyro wood.
As conclusion, chemistry is one of the most amazing things that we have in this world. Without chemistry, our world would not have gotten to where it is now, and we could not invent the medicines, cleaning products, plastics, and many more. Almost everything we have in our home is because chemistry is everywhere. Thus, the story of Jabir Ibn Hayyan hopefully will be able to motivate ourselves to pursue many knowledge and expand our knowledge despite the obstacle that we have to face. From the story of Jabir Ibn Hayyan, there are few things that we can get and learn from him, especially his love towards knowledge. As we know, Jabir moved to Yemen after his father died because he wanted to gain and seek more knowledge at other countries. Even his major was in chemistry, he has not missed the chance to study religious knowledge as well. Other than that, he's still seeking for knowledge. Even he has the chance to become a wealthy man by selling the medicines and drugs. Also, to inherit all his knowledge about science and chemistry, he has wrote and published a large number of books. He also wrote books on other studies such as philosophy, astronomy, medic, and pharmacy. Moreover, he also inherit his knowledge on this field by accepting and teaching a lot of students. Besides that, Jabir Ibn Hayyan also changed the world perception on natural events through his works, experiments, invention, and finding. For example, the evaporation process. Also, in his life, Jabir continued teaching his students, doing more experiments, authoring his books, and remained full of enthusiasm until he died at the year of 815. That's why he deserved that chemistry would be associated with his name and to be called the father of chemistry. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you for your attention.